some of you, it's not as long as you've been together with your spouses, but for us, it's been a constant work and constant work in the relationship and communication. I don't think you ever graduate from school of life, if you will, and say, hey, I mastered communication, I mastered the relationship piece. We're always constantly working on it because it's such a fluid thing. And so to me, the communication piece is important, and you can only get better at communicating with those around you when you decide to work on your communication. It's really listening first and then communicating second, right? So that's very important. So work on yourself. Whatever area that you're in right now, figure out how do you get better at that area. I think there's a lot of people that want to get better, good at a lot of things, and for me, that's also sometimes a distraction. Is if you want to get better at a lot of things, try to figure out just a few things. Maybe it's 2 or 3 things of what you do as far as your job is concerned, and really get good at that. A lot of people want to do, kind of jump through, not hoops necessarily, but jump through growth, if you will, thinking that they can go from first grade to graduate school. Well, it doesn't happen that way. You have to go through the school of life, right? You have to go through different grades first in order to get to master's degree or a doctorate degree, right? So it's continuous improvement, it's constant work, and a lot of folks don't like that. Well, but that's what it takes to be a winner. That's what it takes to really succeed in life. So the 4th thing is really bringing value. The way I look at life is you're either valuable or you're not, or you're valuable in terms of like how much value you bring to the other human being. So we're living in a society where we're all, it's very egotistic, it's very self-absorbed society, right? With selfies, with Facebook, with social media, with all these things, that we do every single day, and it's easy to get lost and thinking that everyone owes you, and you're the one that people should be catering to. It's very easy to get into that mindset. Instead, we have to think in terms of what kind of value do we bring to human being next to us, right? So whether it's your work, what kind of value do you bring to your work? What kind of value do you bring to your business, to your relationships, to your children, to your grandchildren, to your parents, your friends, your neighbors, or whoever else you come in contact with. So bringing value and really become more valuable should be, I believe, everyone's goal, because we want to provide some form of value to our neighbor, if you will. So how is it done? Well, it's really, again, it's an everyday thing. So to me, I started with mindset of when I was working for someone for a business for many years. I worked for an automotive group here in the Twin Cities, and for me that was what kind of value do I bring to that employer every single day. So I had a mindset of I earn my job every single day. As they say, I'm interviewing for my job every single day. And it's kind of the mindset that puts you where you don't relax and you're constantly bringing value. So in sales world, for me, as a salesperson, the value that I brought to the dealership was by selling vehicles. That was my job descriptions, right? So as I grew through the business, every position that I was in, I wanted to maximize that value. I want to bring the most value I can to my employer, because I knew that if I do that, the result would, I would get compensated for bringing the most value. So as a salesperson that does, sell a lot of cars in this example, that salesperson brings a lot of value to the dealership. So obviously they got to get compensated more than the salesperson that doesn't bring as much value. So again, it's simple math in terms of that, but realizing that hey, I have to bring value. Again, I just brought up a business example. Now, same could be in the relationship. What kind of value do you bring to your spouse? What kind of value do you bring to your children? And are you bringing value, or are you just absorbing the value? So that's very important. To me, that's a big deal as well. And one of the things that I learned in life is that your reward is going to be juxtaposed to the amount of value you bring to others. Not a secret, right? If you look at professional athletes, they bring a lot of enjoyment for millions and millions of people. So of course they get compensated well for doing that, because they bring a lot of value. By the same token, you can also do the same thing. Now, you may not be a professional athlete. I'm definitely not a professional athlete, but I'm a professional at what I'm doing. So by sticking to what I'm doing, and I've been in this industry, in the automotive industry for 23 years, by sticking to it, by really growing, sticking with it rather, and by growing within it, I created so much value. So now I'm affecting hundreds and thousands of people, not only here in the United States, but also back in my homeland of Russia. I do training there twice a week now via Zoom, which is a pretty exciting developments. But my point is I realized early on that I have to bring value. The more people I bring value to, by sharing my story, by training, coaching, and development, by helping them grow their own businesses, then my reward will be compensated, or my compensation will grow as well. So the more value I bring, the more compensation, the more reward I get. It's not, I'm not chasing reward, by the way. That's a very important piece, right? So it's really easy to get stuck on chasing the reward, chasing the money, chasing the dollar. That's not my point. My point, I'm chasing value bringing, exceeding the value, knowing that the reward will come. Now, it may not come from that source, it may come from a different source, but it will come. And that's really what, again, bringing value is. Now, in the relationship piece, it's obviously not a financial reward we after. It's really providing benefit to our spouse, to our kids, to our neighbors, to our family members, and really blessing them through that, through whatever means we can. Again, it doesn't have to be financial, right? I'm not focused on that. It could be the value of time, or value of listening, or relationship, or caring. So whatever the gifts that you have, you can bring this and increase that value, and then guess what, your reward will be as great as well. So that's the fourth element. So again, so far we covered self-confidence, desire to win, work on yourself, and bringing value. As part of bringing value is the piece that kind of comes out of it is giving back. What I mean by giving back is not holding what we earn, or not holding what we have, but giving ourselves, giving our finances, giving our time, giving our gifts to others. And really, for me and my wife, this was through adopting kids. So for us, it was how do we give back? And give forward in a way. So we adopted 4 children, as I mentioned earlier. So for us, it was again, giving somebody a chance, giving somebody the future, giving somebody a home. And that was a way for us, and it is a way for us to give. Again, giving back. Now, again, this is on top of participating in charity work with churches and things of that nature. That's almost like a given. It really finding a way to give back, whether it's volunteering, whether it's adopting a child, whether it's foster care, whether it's just spending time with again, children. For me, why children are important is, the scripture talks specifically about it in James that it's a true religion is to take care of the orphans and take care of widows. So for me, that was the starting point, or the turning point rather, realizing that there's a lot of kids out there that need help, a lot of children that need a home. And now we can't, as a family, my wife and I can't save them all, right? No one can, if you will, in that terms. But if we work together, we can. At any given time, Hennepin County, as an example, or state of Minnesota rather, has anywhere from 130 to 200 kids of different ages, up to 18 years old, that need a home. They need a loving parent. And a lot of folks in Minnesota don't realize that. A lot of people think that it's just children being adopted from different countries. But yes, and they are. But there's a lot of children here in this state, in this city, that need a family. And so for us, that was that, as simple as that, is realizing that we can do the change and we can make the difference here, again, versus, let's say, bringing a child from Russia, which we could have at the time. We decided not to, not for whatever reasons, but the main reason was, hey, there are kids here that need help and need a family. So that was the biggest turning point for us, is realizing that we can help somebody, help an orphan, if you will, and really really show Christ's love through that act, and continue to do that. So again, this is our way. Again, I'm not saying you have to go and adopt a child. That's not what I'm preaching here or sharing, but this is what worked for us, right? That's how we feel like we're giving back of what we were given here in this great country. So these are the 5 pillars. Now I have a 5.5 pillar, and that is, I guess you can call it a half, or you can call it a 6 pillar, whatever you want to call it, but really it's positioning yourself. A lot of people go through life without really a great direction, or realizing what they want to do and where they want to go. And but sometimes they figure it out, but then they don't know how to get there. So a lot of times what it really takes is positioning yourself and preparing yourself for something greater. In my case, it took me 22 years rather, to position myself to start my own business. Now, I was 46 years old when I started the business. Some people start the business when they're 18. Some people start their business when they're 60. So it doesn't really matter what age you are. It's really figuring out how do you position yourself to do, again, you don't have to start the business, by the way, to do that. Position yourself, not necessarily to start the business. I'm just using my life as an example. So 46 years, 22 years in the automotive industry prepared me for my own business, which now I employ 7 people, affects 7 families, and obviously the ripple effect of that is great, because by working with hundreds of dealership employees, probably several thousand dealership employees, we are affecting that many more lives. So that's the exciting part to me, is that ripple effect of bringing value to the level where we're affecting thousands of people. And those people affect thousands of people when they sell cars or service cars. So for us, it's a big ripple effect of business. So positioning yourself is an interesting thing, because a lot of people do the right things, but they just don't know how to position themselves to win, and position themselves to get promoted to the next level, or move to the next level if they're in the business. So for me, the positioning myself was utilizing those 5 things that I just shared with you, right? And that's self-confidence, desire to win, working on myself, bringing value to people, and then giving back. All of that was positioning me to open my own business 22 years later, after being in this particular industry. That time prepared me to do it right. And but throughout those 22 years in the business, I was also positioning myself for different promotions, positioning myself for a better opportunity, if you will. And it goes back to those 5 pillars that I shared with you earlier, is really working hard on yourself, having a winner's mindset, having self-confidence to win, bringing a lot of value at whatever you're doing currently. Okay, a lot of folks like to get to the next level without, like I said, working hard on where they are now. But if you work really hard on where you are now, you'll be able to position yourself for that promotion. Your boss may be able to look and see, gosh, I've got 8 employees, and out of those 8 employees, you are the best at this area. And guess what? You'll be noticed if you become the best at whatever area you want to become best at. And that's how you get the promotion, right? It's by showing up on time, doing all these great things, and then never giving up, and then of course waiting and receiving that blessing, that promotion. And now then the next level, you do the same thing. It's not that complicated. So I was talking to someone as I was sharing my story, and in 11 years in this one company, I had 9 different jobs, and all of them were moving me in the upper promotion. And they mentioned, I was like, well, how can you do that in 11 years? Have 9 jobs? I said, I don't know, it's just so happened. I was just really exceeding at whatever job I had, and by doing a great job at my current position, I wasn't chasing the next level. I was basically chasing the perfection at my current level, current position, but that prepared me to the next level. And that was, again, just the progression that I grew in so many years, having this many jobs and this many promotions. And by the way, only 2 of those 9 jobs I actually asked for. The other 7, I was promoted without even asking. And again, it goes back to that foundation of faith and integrity, because I do believe that God will reward those who seek Him, but also will reward those that work hard on themselves and follow the path, and they're not lazy, they're not they're not blaming things or blaming people. They're taking accountability, they're responsible for their action, and they work on themselves, get better, and that's what get noticed. That's how we grow. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, right? Again, 2020 is an interesting year. It's not over, it's about to, all right? So we have just a few days to meet the 2021. Think about your year, think about your 2020, and think about how you can promote yourself, how you can position yourself, how you can work on yourself to get into 2021 in a way better situation where you might be in today. Remember, it's possible. All it takes is a lot of work, a lot of hard work, but really it starts with changing your mindset. Our mindset affects our behavior, and our behavior will affect our results. So it's very important to remember that, and remember that positive mindset a mindset that never gives up, the mindset that focuses on bringing value, the mindset that says, hey, I'm going to give back, that type of mindset will produce great actions, and then those actions will produce great rewards. So thank you so much for staying with me. So talk to you soon. Thanks.